Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. We got my 1967 Bell telephone truck back here. I've been doing a ton of work on it and I need to get you guys caught up, so let's go dig into it. All right guys, like I said, working on my 67 Bell telephone truck today. I've been doing a lot of work to it up here on the front end, if you can tell. I need to tell you guys what I've been doing. Basically, I didn't film any of this stuff because I was trying to get it knocked out. I've been really busy here, and this was kind of when I had a few hours in the shop, I'd work on these inner fenders here. And a few other pieces, bits and pieces in here are nice and new. The main thing on these inner fenders, I painted them with like a rust treatment kind of stuff, and then top coated them with some other satin black paint, and I was really unhappy with the results. Basically, I think it was too cold here in the shop, and the top had a lot of orange peel on it, a lot of texture, plus the rust that was underneath that. The inner fenders wasn't very smooth to begin with, so I sanded all that down and went with a base layer of epoxy. And then I put a satin black on top of this, like the same stuff we like to paint our frames with here. It's like an industrial paint kind of stuff. So I think I was really happy with the way this turned out. Same thing with the core support here. I didn't redo the bottom side here. And if you can see, there's just a lot of texture. It's probably really hard to see in the dark here under the inner fender. And that's kind of why I didn't mess with doing the underside there, because it's you're never going to see it, and it's just fine under there. But the top side where you're going to see, I wanted to do that. So I went down and stripped this down, sanded it all down, made it all smooth, and then put some epoxy on it and tried to do a little bit better job on that. And I think it turned out all right. I've also been putting all the little stuff back together up in here in the engine bay. I got a radiator in it. I got the engine up to temperature and all that kind of stuff. And I started putting the front end back together with all new hardware. We still have to put the grill and stuff on here. Next, we're going to be doing the fenders, and then, then it's the grill, and we have new hardware for the headlights, because the headlights, the adjusters were all broken, so the headlights were pointing up in the air, so we got to fix all that. But another thing we need to do is the windshield here. If you can tell here, our windshield has definitely seen better days. And the guys over at Automotive Direct hooked me up and sent me some windshields for my projects here. So we got one for the Bell telephone truck. We got one for my Ultimate Crew Cab here, because we're missing the windshield on that one. And we also got one for my Rangoon Red 67. It has a crack right in the middle of the glass, and someone probably cracked it when they were putting in a new gasket. So we got a new windshield for that one as well. So we got 3 new windshields in here. We have a green tinted one for the crew cab because it has Sun-X glass, and we got 2 clear ones for the 267 trucks. I'm not going to get them out of there because I don't want to break them. They do a really good job of packaging these things and making sure that your glass doesn't get broken in transit. But yeah, it came in this nice heavy-duty box with its own pallet, and it had all this foam and stuff wrapped around the windshields. I was really impressed with the way they packaged this, which is good because it's just a big hassle if you break one in transit. They also got me some gaskets, so we have window gaskets, and they also got me some installation tools. I'm probably going to have my glass guy come in and install those, but it's good to have those for like the back glass and stuff. It's a lot easier to get in. So really happy with the guys, or with the windshields I got from Automotive Direct. If you guys need windshields for your trucks, I'll have links to this in the description down below. But yeah, anyway guys, this was a big help to the channel. I got the windshields here, no problem. And we're gonna get that thing in this thing and be seeing clear out the windshield. But we're also gonna do some patina stuff for on the exterior, and hopefully bring out this really nice green paint on my Bell truck here. We also have here where the old Southwestern Bell logo here was scraped off with like a pocket knife or something, and they scraped down to the paint, and you can see where the logo was. And I've had a few options of what I wanted to do here. I had the idea of I found the decal pattern and getting one made that's exact same size as these scratches on the door here, and getting a new decal made up for that to match that. And I also thought about leaving it off and just leaving the Southwestern Bell where you can kind of read it, but it's on the other side, it's not legible. So all those options are still up in the air. I'm not sure what I'm going to do there. But we'll definitely have to put the decal on before we put the sauce on it, because I think that might screw up the decal adhesion. And we also have to finish the interior. I still have everything to put together in here. But another thing I've been unhappy with so far that we've done in the past is the door seals here. Now these seals were just some that I had laying around and left over from another project. They were new, but they came from a place that is kind of known for being lower quality or cheaper stuff, or kind of more budget-friendly options. And this is the result when you try to shut the door. They're just a little stiff. It's like they're too thick. I mean, if you really slam the door, you can get it shut. But the other side is worse, even worse than this one. And they've been long enough that I think they should have broken in by now. So what I ended up doing was I got a set of Dennis Carpenter door seals. I wanted to try those. And you try to search online, and everybody has their own brand they want to use and say that's what's best. And I could never find a definitive answer of what the go-to one is. So I thought that would be a good idea for a video, to do a shootout on all the popular brands that everybody likes to recommend, and put one on this side and one on the other side, and maybe some others in some other trucks that I have that need door seals, and just see which ones I think work the best. And that might be a video we do down the road. So we'll probably be doing this install on that video, so we can give all those door seals a shootout and kind of figure out which one is the best to use. So if you guys want to see that, let me know down in the comments below. And if you have brands that you want me to try, let me know. I think I have them all kind of figured out what the main ones are, but if you have some I haven't heard of, get down in the comments below and let me know. And be sure I cover all the bases. I also got pieces like the hinges painted, and the hood latch and all that stuff painted and ready to go back together when we start doing the front end here a little bit later. And you know, all the grill pieces and stuff, we'll be throwing that together. We also have to do a lot of work on the bed. I think I'm going to make a step that goes right here and put a piece of metal on that. And I also got metal to add a ladder rack, because these would originally had a ladder rack up here to put a ladder over the cab. I'm going to try to make something right there to work. And then we're also going to sauce up the bed. I still have some wet sanding to do back here to try to get that different colored green paint off. But yeah, this truck's well on its way to looking pretty fresh and clean, especially after our 240 we put in on the last episode on this thing. So I haven't really been down the road with this, but this engine runs way better than the other one, so I'm real excited about that. But anyway, I'm talking way too much. I'm going to get to putting the front end back together on this thing, get the fenders and grill put on here, and let's go dig into it. All right, so I've been busy working on this thing. It does look like I just put the fenders on, but I've done a little bit more than that. I want to just fill you guys in with kind of the alignment, how I do everything here. Basically, your front and back alignment on your fenders is all going to come right here on your fender aprons. What I like to do is make sure the fenders are bolted up here to the front of your core support, and then come back here and look at your gap on your door here and make sure it's what you want. And then your up and down is adjusted by the bolt here and then the bolt at the bottom of the fender there. And a lot of times on these trucks, there's kind of a bigger gap right here in the cowl, and it usually matches the hood. So if you can get that close, that's kind of how I usually like to have them. If you have this way up here where this gap looks normal, your bump here on the side is off. So just kind of, a lot of times you just got to play with these trucks and kind of put them together how you think they look best. So still playing with this one, but that's just kind of the general idea of how I get everything aligned. And then obviously I have the hood hinges installed with the new paint on those. Those turned out really nice. I like the contrasting gray with the black inner fenders, and the originals here were a zinc phosphate coated hinge, so they were gray originally. They're probably a little bit lighter than this. This is actually a 2K cast blast paint that I use that's actually made to mimic cast iron, but I think it looks pretty close to that zinc phosphate stuff. So that's the way I like to paint those. And I also do the hood latch and the striker here for the hood. I do those in that paint as well, which those are back here, right back there. So we'll put those on when we get the hood on. But I'm going to put the hood on here, and we're going to close it without the latch so we can try to get the gap correct. And obviously you have your plate and your hood hinges here and up and down here on the hinge. So that's always fun. And being a 67, we had the added adjustment here of the hood brace on the cowl. since the 67 hoods don't have the braces here along the fender, or I guess it has the one here, you can see the rub mark on it, but it doesn't have the one back here. It has this one right here. Basically, that's just to help align your hood when you get it shut there and make sure it's supported, and also help you alignment with your cowl. So anyway, just wanted to pop in here and show you guys how I'm doing that, since I'm not really doing it on camera. Just kind of give you guys a little insight on the alignment of the fender there. Next up is going to be the grill and the upper valence, and then the hood. Like I said, the grill, we have new hardware for the headlights because those are all blown out and your headlights are pointing towards the sky. So I got new hardware for that, so we got to rebuild that. Have my harness there sticking out, ready to go with the grill, and we'll move forward with this assembly. All right, guys, well, I have definitely moved forward with this assembly. If you can see here, I have the grill installed there with our new hardware that we put in our headlight buckets there, so the headlights won't be pointing towards the sky anymore. I'll have to aim those, so I'll have to pop these headlight doors off, and I'll aim them sometime when it's dark. I'll probably do it outside the shop and point them towards the garage door, and then you can kind of aim them left or right, up and down, to get them kind of where you want to be there. So they're going to be off right now because I just threw that hardware in just wherever it looked good to my eye. Also have the bumper on and the hood. One thing I did mention, I adjusted the hood with the hood latch off. I think that really helps do it correctly and kind of sneak up on it. If you have it with the hood latch on, it's hard to, you have to kind of get it shut, and sometimes you have to slam it. And if you have it wrong up here at the cowl, sometimes your hood can hit the cowl and damage things there. So you don't want that. I like to do it with the hood latch off. It kind of helps. Then you kind of fight your hood hinges up here to get all of this looking right, the level here. I think I got it pretty close. A lot of times it's either too high or too low, and you go to adjust your hood hinges. And especially if you're doing it by yourself, it's hard to just barely move the hinge. But I kind of got to where I was getting it. You kind of hold the hood with your arm, and then run with your free arm, and then you run your ratchet with your other arm to loosen the hinge up, and then you kind of slowly creep it down and then tighten it back up. Just do it a little bit at a time, and basically ended up with that. It's just trial and error. You know, there's no real secret to it. You just got to move it and see what works. And then up here on the latch, the only real secret I can tell you is when I'm getting it lined up, I bring it down like this to make sure you're lined like this on your latch here. And then basically I just shut it until I get the play and the shut I like. You'll have a little bit of play up and down. So that's basically what I'm adjusting once you get it left to right. If it's too loose, you'll have a lot of up and down play. And then I kind of get it to where it's not where you have to slam the hood hard to get the shut, but you also want it to be nice and firm. There's a little bit of play there, but not much. So that's how I adjusted those. And then the little cowl brackets here, the 67 and early 68 braces there. The bottom hole is just a hole, and the top hole is slotted, and you kind of just get those back and forth to where they're just barely in contact with the hood there to help it support there on the edge of the cowl. Those are pretty simple. But yeah, that's basically the front end assembly in a nutshell. I am planning on doing a specific video. Kind of the reason I didn't really film a lot of this, I'm doing a full-on front end assembly video on my Ultimate Crew Cab when I get to that point. And hopefully I'll be able to share even more tips and show you guys exactly what I'm doing when I'm assembling that front end, and everything I'm learning on this truck and all the other stuff I'm assembling. Kind of putting it all in my mind, and then we're going to do a front end assembly video on my crew cab here once we put it together. So if you're interested in more in-depth of all this stuff that I did, be looking for that video in the future. But in the meantime, hopefully this video helps you out. If you notice, the front end of this truck is awful shiny and looks awful nice. We got new hood badges too, I forgot to mention that. That's because I put the sweet patina sauce on this. In some past videos on this truck, I had mentioned doing like a clear coat style. Basically, I just scared myself out of that. I didn't want to have to, the worry of doing something incorrect, and then you have all that clear coat you have to deal with, or if it peels off down the road, something like that. I just felt like, you know, I don't need to put all that extra risk of something going wrong or causing problems down the road on this truck. I think this sweet patina sauce, it just wipes on. You can wipe it off if you have there's a chemical they use to take it off. It's not like a clear coat where it's permanent deal. So I thought it fit this project better, and it's really easy to apply. And I did the front end as I was assembling it, and I think it really brings out the nice colors and gives it a nice kind of satin shine. If you can tell here on the door, I haven't done this door here. If you can tell how it's kind of dull and still a little bit oxidized, and you go over here to where I applied it. Just nice shine there. Kind of brings the colors out. So pretty happy with that stuff so far. I'm going to do the cab as I progress on with the build. We still have a lot to do with the cab and stuff. And what I'm working on today is I'm pulling the windshield out because we have our AMD windshields in there to put in this truck, the Ultimate Crew Cab in our red 67. And this one's obviously seen better days. But my glass guy's coming out this weekend, and I got to get everything ready for him. So I got to pull this glass out. This gasket is super duper hard. Usually I take a utility knife box cutter and go inside and cut it, and then you can kind of peel it off and then the windshield just comes out. But this gasket is so hard, a knife won't even touch it. It's like a rock. So I'm probably gonna have to chip away at it and get it broken out that way. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully it doesn't fight me too bad. We'll see how it turns out, but luckily we don't have to worry about breaking the windshield because this one's already toast. So I'm gonna work on getting this windshield out, and we'll see about getting that new windshield in. Okay, so I kind of got this figured out. Basically what I ended up doing was I can break this stuff, and basically it's bringing out all the gasket all in one piece from the inside out. It's really, really brittle and hard. So that's what makes this work. If your gasket was still pliable and easy to work with, this definitely wouldn't work because it's bounced off. But this is really, really hard, and why I couldn't cut it. So slowly working at it. So I'm gonna get this. There's a big chunk there. So it's really gonna work out pretty fast and pretty good. So gonna get all of these pieces knocked out all along here and get it all, the windshield taken out, and then I'll have to come in here and clean up all of this bedding compound here and get this all ready to go for our new windshields. Hopefully we'll be able to see out of this thing. All right, well, as you can see here, the windshield is out of the truck. We're actually several weeks later than the last time you saw me working on this truck. It's kind of how this video is going to go on this truck. It's just whenever I have time, I'm getting on it and working on it. Doing a lot of work in the motorhome back there in the back and helping my dad with some stuff. So just kind of getting in on this bell truck whenever I can on the weekends and in between projects. But you can see here the windshield is not put in. Unfortunately, my glass guy that was supposed to come out, he was sick one week and couldn't come out. And then he had to reschedule, I think he had to reschedule another week. And then this week it was terribly cold. We had a bunch of snow and almost blizzard conditions here. And we got snow outside, and I got to get the forklift out and move some stuff and get some other stuff in here to get the trucks in here. He needs to put windshields in. So I wasn't going to be able to do that with all the snow we have outside. So I had to reschedule. So now we're pushed back another week. Maybe at some point we'll get the windshields in these trucks, but for now we don't have it. But I've been working on this truck a little bit. The main thing I did yesterday was I stripped the doors down. I'm replacing the seals here, the anti-rattle kits, and the felt wipers in the doors for the window. And I'm changing out the vent windows because the ones that were in here were just kind of not that great. You can see here the latch is in pretty poor condition. And overall, I mean, they're not terrible, but I think I have some better ones. We'll see what I come up with. And we'll change out the felts here for the window track. Those are all, you can see the remnants of the originals here. That was terrible to get out of here. When they get old like this or really old like this, if it's been sitting outside, they just turn to rock hard, much like the gasket on the windshield, I guess. And you're basically just chipping it out, and this is what you come up with. Just really, really small pieces of really hard stuff, and it just crumbles. So it's kind of a pain to get out, but I did get all of it out, all of the channel here, so we'll be replacing that. But I also got some stuff in the mail here that I thought was pretty cool. I've been picking up just some Bell telephone stuff every now and then when I see it. Here's a hard hat that has the correct logo there for the era of this truck. There's a little more modern era of logo where the bell is hollow. I don't know how to describe that, but it's just the outline of the bell. But going off this right here, it looks like the center was solid like that. So that's kind of the logo I went off of. And I got these decals made to cover up where somebody has scraped off the old decals. If you can see there, that's going to go there to cover up that. And I also got the the words here to cover up this. I tried my best to match the font, the size of letters, and the dimensions so it matches perfectly. We're a little bit off there on the W. I don't know why the Western got off, but the South is lined up and the bell is lined up. You can even see the, the L's on the bell are lined up. So I might be cutting this to try to make it line up better so we don't have part of the old lettering sticking through where our decal doesn't cover up. We'll see what it turns out like. I'm really nervous about putting those on. I've done quite a bit of, I don't say quite a bit, I've done enough stickers and lettering and stuff like that to kind of know my way around it, but I've also screwed up a bunch, and this was not cheap. I've tried to find a place that would do really high quality stickers, and I had to get them just exactly perfect, the right size. The place I used, they did a really good job. I really liked the decals, but they weren't cheap, so I only got 2, so 1 for each side. I wanted to get 3, but that was, we're already pushing almost $200 there for those, which might seem like a lot, but like I said, I try to get really high quality stuff that's going to last out here because it's going to be out exposed to the daylight and all that kind of stuff. So we're just going to go 2, and hopefully we don't screw up. If I do, I guess we can just order another set and call it lessons learned, but I'm going to give that a go and see how it looks. Once I get the decals on, then I'm going to patina sauce the cab. It's going to look really nice, I think. Like I said, I've only done the front half there of this cab. We'll do the patina sauce, and I really want to do the patina sauce on the bed, but we're pretty far from that. We got to keep working on it. It's just the only way at this truck, and see if we get down to the bed. Maybe, I don't know if we'll get to that anytime soon or even to this episode. But for now, we're working on the doors, so I'm going to get after it. All right, so here's what we're working with. I've already got the Bell Telephone logo on the door. That went pretty well. I just did basically the same thing I did here. Figure out where I wanted to go, and then taped it up here, and then transferred it over. Now I know the correct way to do this would probably be some water or soapy water and put under this, but I'm concerned on the other side with the way they scrape that decal off, and it has all that rough texture in the soap, that I won't be able to get that off, and when I'm squeegeeing it, it might move something. I'm just worried about that since it's not just a nice slick smooth paint underneath it like glass or something. So I'm doing it dry, and that's what I'm doing over here. But basically what I did was I made sure I put it where I want it, and then I'm going to pull this up and peel the backing off, and then transfer it back down, and that worked really well on the Bell system decal over there. So we'll do the same over here. You can kind of see where they scraped the old one off on this, but obviously not as well as the other side. But I think I have it where it was. It's basically just right in line with the circle there. But we definitely don't have to line up letters on this one, so that makes it easier. On the other side, I might trim the words and put them on separately so it matches up perfectly where they have those scrape marks. But like I said, we don't have that to deal with here. So I'm going to see if we get this thing on here, and hopefully I don't screw the thing up. See if you guys, yeah, you guys can kind of see that. I'm probably going to be in the way while I do this, but it is what it is. I should probably just break down and get a tripod for my camera. Right now you're sitting on one of the bucket seats for the ultimate crew cab. I have enough junk in the shop, I can just make tripods out of whatever I have laying around the shop. Okay, so since this one is a great big long decal, I'll have to be a little bit more careful than the circle. It was a lot easier. Okay, there's the backing off. Wonder if I should start on a corner and then work my way over instead of just trying to go down all at once. I don't know if that would increase the chances of wrinkles. We might just, yeah, I'll just do something like this. Just work my way down. That went really well. I was worried about that for nothing. So, see if we can get the painter's tape off of this. These down here were just to help me align it and make sure I was even with the body line there. I was kind of on the fence whether or not I wanted to actually add these decals or not, or just leave the like the rusty impression on the other side, but I think it's going to make it look pretty nice. That's what I ended up deciding. And I was also worried about the black being too dark and you won't be able to see it, but yeah, that's going to pop really well. Oh yeah. I'm happy about that. Now, it is going to look kind of new and shiny, but I think it helps tie in to the history of this truck, and the obviously tells you what it is. And this side, like I said, you couldn't see anything of what the decal was on this side, so it kind of ties into that. The other side, you could tell what it was because of where they scraped it off. Now, if it was like hand painted and it was faded, that would be one totally different thing. But since it's rusty because they scraped it off and they scraped the actual paint off, I'm kind of, I feel better about covering it up. So it's not an actual patina on the truck. It's from somebody scraping the decal off. So I'm going to get to going on the other side and get that transferred over, and I'll show you guys what it looks like when I get done. Alright, so here it is. I am really happy with how this turned out. I was really worried about it, if you couldn't tell. Right there on the E, we didn't get all of it covered, and right there on the S, if you can tell, but I mean, just barely. That's really nitpicking. This thing turned out awesome. Full coverage on the Bell telephone here, the logo where it was scraped off, full coverage of everything that was scraped off, so that's really good. I spent a lot of time trying to make sure I was getting the decal in the right spot so I wasn't like offset and you could see the scrape marks. But really happy with this. Even the rust stains coming off of the H right there and the T line up, so that's pretty neat. We're going to get all of this patina sauced like we did the front, and hopefully it'll look good. But for now, I'm going to move on with trying to get the doors reassembled, and then we'll hopefully have the windshields in at some point, and we'll be moving right along with the cab on this thing. All right, I've been plugging away at the doors. I have them pretty much all assembled. Both sides, got the other side over there. I went ahead and got all new anti-rattle kits for the windows installed in here. Those went together pretty well. And I ended up just reusing the wing windows that were in this truck. I just cleaned them up, but I did change out the latches here off of those wing windows I talked about. The other door set, they just weren't in better shape, so I felt Might as well reuse these. These aren't in that bad a shape, so just clean them up and change the latch there. Lubricated everything behind the doors, so the window regulator and all the door latches and stuff. So we got the windows working pretty good, and of course the door latch, and then got the door panels back installed. And I had talked about earlier in the video about the door seals and how I was unhappy with them, and I thought about doing a shootout with all the different brands and the recommended ones that everyone's recommended in the past. And I'm kind of up in the air on doing that. I've been messing around with them and trying to figure out what I want to do here. These are still the original ones that I had in the cab originally that I replaced, and they're kind of getting broke in, so I'm kind of up in the air whether I really want to spend the time and money to test all those others out, but we will see. Like I said, I've been playing around with it. On this other side here, I have a set of Precision. You can see the bag there. It's Precision, but it's for like an OBS Ford truck. So like 92, 97, that kind of era. They're press-on, they're not glue-on. And I don't have them all the way around. We still have the old one down there at the bottom. And this door here, it pretty much wouldn't shut at all. I mean, even if you were slamming it really hard, it still didn't like to shut. So it's probably not a good example of how to test this. But even with those other seals, it's still not wanting to shut. So either this door needs some adjusting. There, I got it to shut. You kind of got to slam it hard. But even already, we're already sticking out past the cab. So you can't really adjust it. If you adjust it out more, it's just going to be sticking out more. So I'm kind of worried about the methods I would use to test all these door seals, and it wouldn't really be fair, because I don't really want to go to all the trouble of testing them all on one door, and that's the way you should do it. Test it all on one door and one door adjustment, because like from left and right on this truck, the doors shut completely different, even with different seals in it. I don't know if it's going to be a good test for that kind of stuff, so I'm kind of still up in the air about it. I put those Precision door seals, the same door seals, in my crew cab here on the door, and this one shuts really, really nice. So that's kind of the same thing I've been going back and forth on, whether I want to spend the extra time to do it correctly, or just over time maybe get different sets for each different truck I'm putting together, and see if I like them on that truck, and see if the door's shut, and just kind of use it as a case-by-case example. And then eventually I'll come up with some that I'll be able to recommend to people. That's kind of what I'm leaning to now. So if you guys were looking forward to that, I'm sorry, but let me know down in the comments what you guys think, if I should go ahead and bite the bullet and see about ordering some door seals. But for now, I do want to try the Dennis Carpenter ones that I've already bought for this truck. The Precision ones I bought for the crew cab back there. So if they're going to work on that, I'll probably just use those there. But those Dennis Carpenter ones I got are glue-on, so I'll have to glue those on. I'll probably just put one set on the other side and see how it works before I do both. But I'll let you guys know how that turns out. All right, well, I got the Dennis Carpenter seals installed in that door over there. If you noticed, the windshield is still not installed. We've been having a heck of a time getting my glass guy and a time where I can be out here and a time where he can get out here and install these windshields. We got 4 for him to put in, so kind of need a full day for him, and he was coming up short on full days. So we're going to try again here in a week, and hopefully we get that windshield in. But I've been tinkering with this thing in the meantime while we're waiting on that. So here are these Dennis Carpenter seals. They seem to be nice and soft, and don't seem to be too bulged out. I think those LMC seals that we started with, a lot of the problem was they're just a little stiffer, and the actual width of the cushion is thicker. Let's see if I can show you. This is the Dennis Carpenter one, and here is the LMC right here on the right. You can tell the difference. The circle, I don't know what to call that. The actual seal part is much larger, so there's a lot more material there to squish down whenever you shut your door, where the Dennis Carpenter one seems to be a lot softer and it's smaller. So that resulted in a door that shuts better, so it is definitely an improvement. Is it an improvement over those Precision seals that I talked about earlier? Not quite sure. I do know that the window gaskets that go on here for the windshield, I know Dennis Carpenter resells precision window gaskets because I've got Dennis Carpenter ones and it had a precision sticker underneath it. So maybe these are even just precision seals that are glue on instead of press on, like the ones we used earlier. But like Sarah, I just kind of slammed it like how I would want it to shut, and we still didn't get it shut. And I have adjusted the striker, just to be clear. You can see I have adjusted it out just slightly. I don't want to get too far because then your door doesn't stick out all the way. I'd much rather have it be tight and they maybe break in than the door be sticking out too far. Let's see if I can get it actually shut here without trying too hard. Not shut. There's shut. So just a little bit more force than I would like, but hopefully they can break in. That's not too bad, but hopefully they break in a little bit better because I would like it to be about like that, and we obviously aren't getting the door shut. So we're gonna have an update on this at some point on this truck, hopefully within like a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that, of this door being shut, and maybe the seals will kind of break in and make the door a little bit easier to shut. So working on the just kind of piddly stuff on this truck. The mirrors on this thing were pretty faded, and the gaskets around here were going to pieces. And I actually found actual company that made these things. I actually saw them on my UPS truck and said, those look exactly like the mirrors that are on my Bell truck. And looked up the company, and sure enough, it looked exactly like the mirrors. So I bought 4 mirrors and just took the gaskets off and used new mirrors on there. So we have nice new mirrors and new gaskets without them falling apart and rattly. I didn't want to put the new mirror heads on it because I just don't think they would look right. These Patina ones kind of match the truck better. But I did get off-white. You can see their part number. I don't know why you guys care about that unless you have a Bell telephone truck. But I did get off-white, and I'm going to include them with the truck when I sell it in case for some reason the new owner wants the new ones on there. If they restore the truck or something of that nature, they'll have those there. So I've been working on that. Also working on the headache rack since I have time. I have some tubing here. I think this is 1 5/8, I think. And it kind of matches the rail there perfectly. There you can see what we're talking about. Kind of fits in that rail, and there's a little step down here that I have it set on. And drilled holes, and these things just bolt on nice and easy. And I have it up here. I'm going to put some angle iron up there. It's going to arch over the top there, and I'm going to find an old vintage wooden ladder to put up there on the ladder rack just for looks and functionality. So working on that right now. So yeah, just basically little piddly stuff, and I'm going to maybe work on the tail lights for the bed and do a little wet sanding on it, and then we got to finish mounting it and get that plywood on the inside. And we are pretty close to being done with this thing once you get the windshield in. So this might be the last episode on the build on this thing. I'm not sure. We'll see how things come along. If we still have to wait a couple weeks on the windshield, like I have been, probably going to end it off sometime in this episode. But we might get it finished off, and we'll get this thing to market. I want to do some driving with it and just have some fun with it first. A lot of times I don't get to do that very much. So I'm going to get after it and see what I get done. All right, since we're waiting on the windshield to get put in here, I've been messing with the bed, started on the bed stuff. And what I've been doing the last couple days is wet sanding. I've been wet sanding all the green paint off. You can see some of it here. I didn't get quite all of it off. The dark green paint would not be correct. Since I've started building this truck, I've had a lot of people send me other Bell telephone trucks that are either for sale or pictures they've seen or stuff they've seen. And seems like a lot of times these trucks are painted a different color or something of that nature. I don't know if it's either somebody getting into the private market and they bought an old truck at a surplus auction or something. They have to paint it a different color, so it's not, I don't know, so you wouldn't be confused that they're an actual Bell telephone employee or something like that. Not sure if that's why they've been painting different colors, and that's why this bed is that dark green color, but I've just seen a few of them, so it kind of made me think that anyway. Same thing with the decals are scraped off of the cab. I actually found some here on the back of the bed whenever I was wet sanding. Right here, I knew about this one already, but it looks like there was something right here that has been scraped off. Down here that I uncovered while I was wet sanding, there was some kind of yellow lettering. If you can see, there's remnants of it there and right there and a little speck of it there. But it looks like it had something right here. I don't know if it was like stay back or something of that nature. I unfortunately couldn't make out any of the letters. You know, I just couldn't make out anything. I thought maybe if I could get one letter, I might be able to piece it together what it was, but I couldn't come up with anything. But just theories I thought I would share with you guys. Also got the taillights mounted. I mounted them kind of lower than I was originally planning on, but that was because I used the original mounting holes, or the mounting holes for those, I think they were some kind of Chevy car taillights. Used those so I didn't drill more holes in the bed. I kind of would like them a little bit higher up, mainly just because the license plate right here is a little lower than I would like. But this bumper is actually tweaked up. I've actually bent it down some. I'm going to get the forklift in here and see if I can bend it down just a little bit more, because it covers up the bottom edge of that license plate, if you can tell there. So if I can probably bend that down another inch or two, we'll reveal all of that license plate. I got a 1967 commercial license plate there to match this truck to sell, since this would have been a commercial truck. I thought that's the license plate it would have. But we're on our way with this bed. Like I said, we still have some work to do on the inside. We have some rust to fix over here. I want to try to take care of that. And obviously our floor, I want to do a floor on this thing. And we have to do some mounts here in the back and some mounts in the front. And then obviously finish up that ladder rack. But just wanted to show you guys what I've been working with on the bed. We'll see what I come up with there. Oh, one more thing. Right here in this area, I want to put a step right here. Like same thing, those trucks that people have been sending me, a lot of them have steps right here. And this one, all we had was this metal piece right here that's coming apart. And the fenders are all bent up right here and hard to get in the right spot. And I was originally going to make a pipe step here, but I was looking at Automotive Direct's catalog, and they actually have steps for like a step side Chevy truck. I think it was 50 something to 59. That era truck, they have some reproduction steps that they sell, and they were gracious enough to send me a set, and I am waiting on FedEx to deliver them. They've had them for a couple of days now. And the guy hasn't come out here. We have a ton of trouble with FedEx. I don't know if anybody else does, but just getting them to deliver it. You know, it's out for delivery, and they just don't bring it out. So it shows it's out for delivery today. If that shows up, we'll start fitting those in. But otherwise, I'm just going to piddle around with this thing and see what I get done, and hopefully we get some glass in the thing. All right, so I got my box from Automotive Direct. Got these steps over here. These actually for a 55 to 59. Kind of like the mirror heads. I don't know why I'm showing you guys this part number, unless you have one of these trucks to restore, or if you're doing something similar to this. This is the step we got. This is a long bed step. They do make a short bed step, but since it's kind of curved out here for the fender for the bed, I didn't think I was going to have enough material on that short bed step. This one is obviously too long. But what I'm going to do, since we're a real square corner here, I'm going to cut this to where I need it to be all the way here. And then I'm going to weld a piece of flat iron or a piece of angle iron under here to bolt to the fender, because the other side has all been up like I showed you before. This one's solid, so I'll be able to build it off of the measurements of this one. And the other one that's been up, we can bend it out and get it to where it needs to go, because that fender is pretty stiff with the radius here. It's hard to bend without worrying about tweaking the thing. But I'm going to take this panel off, and we'll use the back panel on this just for simplicity's sake. And I'm going to make something. It's all flat under here, and this curves up here. I'm going to make something, probably another piece of angle iron, like I said, and go right here and bolt to these holes, and then just bolt this up. And then they also have these braces they sent me that go up under there. I'm going to see if I can make those work. If not, I think the thing's going to be pretty solid, but I'm going to try to get this to work up in there so it'd be even better. The fender back here is going to be a lot to hold up the back corner of this. So I'm going to get after that and see if I can make this thing fit, and I'll show you guys what I come up with. Oh, one more thing. I got the taillights all wired up. So this thing is 100% town legal once I put the actual license plate on it. Yeah, we got taillights, and we got the blinkers working, and even the reverse lights light up. So I was kind of worried about that. I had to add the little switch up there under on the shifter that the shifter interfaces with. And I didn't get it in reverse. Hang on. All right, key has to be on for the reverse light to work. Was worried my wiring didn't work. There, we got the reverse lights working. And also, whenever your tail lights are on, there's a little clear section in this tail light that lights up your license plate. So we have a license plate light as well. And these are actually a Ford part. These come off of like a a modern like cabin chassis or something, this would be what's on the back of the frame there. So you can have tail lights when you're driving the thing before you get a bed on them or something. Or if you get a bed that doesn't have tail lights, that's what comes with them. I've used those on other projects before, so I thought I would share that little bit of knowledge. But I'm going to get on cutting those steps up and get those fit. And like I said, I'll show you guys what I come up with. All right, here's what I came up with. A couple of iterations on this of what I ended up doing. Originally, I had planned on doing away with this metal piece here. If you remember, the steps had a 90-degree panel that came up like this. And I was just going to use that. And I originally was like, well, I'll just bolt it to these holes here. Like it originally was, but the edge of the step was ended up being like 1.5 inches out past the fender, and I just didn't like the way that looked. So up under here, there's another, if I can show you, there is another seam of metal back there. If you saw that, I was going to put that on the back side of that and then run this down to the step. But same problem, then the step was too far in, and I didn't like the look of that either. So what I ended up doing, just cutting off the back piece of that step, bolted. There's a piece of angle iron on the bottom of this piece that's really stout. I bolted the step to that, and then I'm still going to put a piece on the underside of this so I can bolt the fender to that. Also going to modify this bracket, go up under here, and it lines up perfectly with the vertical support here on the bed, so I'm going to bolt that to that. So this should be a really nice solid step for that. So really happy with how this turned out. I just got to knock it out on the other side and see if I can match it, and then we got to do some patina. But I'm going to work on the other side and get it knocked out, and we'll catch up with you guys later. All right, well, I've been busy working on these steps here, and I think I got the patina kind of matched good enough for what I want. It is definitely not perfect, being my first time doing this, but pretty happy with how this turned out. Basically, all I did was layer some colors, have some red oxide under there, red oxide primer, and then I did the Bell telephone green on top of that. And basically, I just wore it down right here where I would think most of the wear would be, and I threw some rocks at it and gave it some rock chips up here on the leading edge where it's going to get rock chipped. And you can see here's the panel that's going to be above it. It definitely is not a perfect match. Like this one, it's set, the bed's set in dirt, and this was setting in the dirt. So you can see this is pretty corroded down here on the bottom, and I definitely didn't match that on the step here. I probably could have spent some more time and got it perfect, but this being down there on the bottom edge of the bed, I think it'll be just fine. And plus, this bed isn't going to be perfect anyway, so I can't spend too much time on this stuff trying to make it perfect. Basically, I think it's good enough. Over here on the truck, I have the bed off of it because I needed to do a bunch of welding on it. Basically, the structure on the bottom end of the bed, it's over there on the lift. We'll be doing that later. I made the front brackets for the mounts here, and I also got some new leaf springs for this thing because it has like 9 leaves, I think I counted, and the bushings are shot on the leaves there, and the leaves are wore out themselves. So I just went ahead and got some, I think they're 5-leaf replacement springs, so it's going to ride a lot better. It's going to have a lower carrying capacity, but this thing is definitely not going to be loaded down like it was when this was a service truck. So it'll ride a little bit better. But if you see up here, I have everything ready to go for our windshields, our Auto Metal Direct windshields. I have our clear one here ready to go. I got to get it unwrapped, but it's here, and we have our window gaskets from Auto Metal Direct right here. And we're going to get the windshields in. Tomorrow is the day. My glass guy is finally going to be out. Last week, I had to cancel on him. So between him and myself, we've been trying to do this for like 6 to 7 weeks now. So hopefully tomorrow's the day he's going to come out. He wants me to help him get him in. Obviously, it's kind of a 2-person job. And we're going to do the Bell truck here. And if we have time, I'm going to do the back windshields in all these trucks too, because the gaskets are bad on them. We got the Bell truck. We have my crew cab here. We're going to put front and back in that. And here's the tinted windshield for that crew cab since it's SunX. You can see it's kind of green tinted. And here's the back window. This is a factory Ford glass that is tinted. And then here is a clear one for comparison. We're doing front and back on a truck here for my dad. And the Rangoon Red 67 here, we're going to be doing a front and back windshield or gasket replacement on it. And the front windshield, it's cracked right there. I think it got cracked when it was putting in. And the gasket's going to pieces on it. Same thing with the back. The gasket's going to pieces. So we're going to replace the gasket on the back and the windshield and the gasket on that thing. Here's that one here. Same deal. Got my auto to metal direct gaskets and windshield. There's the part number on that if you're interested in it. It's a precision part. Right, I think right there's the auto metal direct part number. But anyway, we're going to get those things in tomorrow and see if I probably fill you guys in here and there if I can. It depends on how busy we are. But we're going to get these windshields in, and then we'll be on our way to having this truck completely road ready and ready to go. So let's see how it turns out. All right, a couple weeks later, and unfortunately, we don't have the glass in these things still. We ran into some problems with the gaskets. They were fighting us. It was kind of a cold day, and I guess these things are a real pain when it's cold. And we got the gaskets on, but had trouble getting them in the truck, or didn't even try because it was too cold. They get really stiff, and he was worried about tearing up the gaskets trying to get them in, which is understandable. So unfortunately, we didn't get the windshields in. I might try myself if we have another warm day, or get somebody else out here to try to do it. He's just so busy. It was a hard time getting a good day for him to come out, and then it was a cold day when he did finally come out, and we had trouble. But I did end up getting the rear glass in all the trucks installed with the new gaskets here. So these are all just original Ford windows. They say car light here. So this is original glass. We just replaced the gasket because the old ones were all crusty and hard and cracked and leaking. And here on the crew cab, we got my Sun-Etch glass installed there with the new gasket. These go on a lot easier. I actually did them by myself, which was kind of tricky, but went in through the door and held pressure on the back while I was pulling the rope out on the center. And once you got it started, it was pretty much just work my way around it and kind of beat the gasket in as I go. The windshield, I definitely don't think I could do it by myself. If I had help, we might try it. If I get a warm day where I get those gaskets warm, or make it a little bit easier. But I still think having a professional here to do that would be best, so I don't risk breaking the windshields or something. But in the meantime, I've been working on the bed, trying to get this thing done. Man, it's been a snowball of a project. I've been doing some editing on this video to try to speed up the process on this thing, on this episode, and it's going to be kind of long, it seems like. So thank you guys if you're sticking around this long on this. I wanted to finish out this episode with the thing being done, but with being dragged out with the windshield problems, and I just don't have time in the shop lately. Spent getting an hour or two a day or something like that. It's hard to get a ton done. I did get about 3 hours today, so I'm getting some knocked out on the bed. Why don't you go ahead and step into my office. I've been in here. There's a lot of, man, what do I do here going on in here? There's unfortunately a lot of rust in this bed. It sat in the dirt in some western Kansas field for decades probably. You can see here all this rust and everything. I think it set down, is piled in and stuff. It had pack rat house inside the bed. And you see, like up in here, there was a mouse house up in this thing here, so it's rotted out there. So it's a lot of little spots like that, and I didn't really want to get into all that because you're basically just going to rebuild the whole bed, and I didn't want to get in that far because we're already in it way too far. You know, remember, this truck was supposed to be spend like 4 weeks on it, 5 weeks max, get it running and driving, fixed up a little bit, and send it on down the road. And that was in August, so we are obviously well past the 5 weeks, and we're also well past the, to be fair, we're well past the just get it running and send it down the road. So there's a lot of stuff on this truck that's kind of, I want to make nice, but then there's stuff like this bed you find, and you're like, man, why are we spending so much time on this? Let's just get it done and get it sold. And I don't know, been struggling with that the last few times I've been in here to work on this thing. But I'll show you guys what I've been doing. Let me get the light spun around here so you can see. Right here was where I first started out. The piece of angle here they had along here where the bed, floor on the bed is going to be. They had plywood on here, which I'm going to go back with plywood on this as well. It was all rotten and rust jacked with this piece of angle, so I replaced it with this piece right here. And the back piece was rotten out where it goes in the fender well, so I cut it out and welded this in to replace that. But then if you look up under here, so right here is where I cut out the bad piece and welded in this is the angle I added. This is the old metal, so it was rotten out like right here. Then you get into the piece like right here. See, it's rotten right there and right there.
So that's the piece that this fender is mounted to. It's like spot welded to the inner frame there. So I struggle with, well, if that's rotten out, let's just go in here and cut all this out and replace all that. But then it's spot welded, and you see it's like hand formed around the edges and stuff, and it just gets into a lot of metal work. And I'm just like, this will work. I mean, it's obviously not perfect. There's other rust spots everywhere on it, and I don't know. I really struggle with that. I hate leaving it, but I'm also not going to like just cover it up and not show it. So it's going to be there. I don't know. There's just so much to do on this bed that would make it really good. I'm okay with just making it just ever so slightly better. But then it's like, where do I stop? So been really struggling with that lately. And same with this piece here. It was just open and jagged along here. So I put this another piece of angle here and just made it kind of capped off. So I was just thinking like, hey, if you're opening that door and you're throwing your ice chest in here, you're at a car show or something, cars and coffee, you don't want that jagged open edge here like snagging on your hoodie or scratching up your cooler, or if you're getting a bag, if you have like a duffel bag or something, ripping a hole in that or something. So I put this cap on here to try to close that off. But then you have this piece here that's all open and, you know, it got to stop somewhere. Same thing over here. This piece was rotten out and open, so I welded in a piece of metal here just so if you had something loose in here, it's not going to fall out and go down the road as you're driving along. So, yeah. Another thing I want to do on this is do something about treating all this rusty stuff where it has been buried in the dirt. It's very rusty and crusty. One thing I hate doing is just painting over rust and, you know, making it better, because I just hate it when people are like, they're selling something and they go up underneath the truck and just paint everything with a black spray can. Really bugs me when people do that, so I definitely don't want to be doing that, but I feel like I should do something here. So I think what I'm going to do is just clean this up as best as I can and paint the rusty areas with a rust converter type thing. It's probably not going to last forever, but as long as this truck is treated nice and not like driven in the winter in like Minnesota, I think it'll be fine and it will last a decent amount of time and hopefully won't be rotten further away. So obviously it's lasted because it's set in the dirt for decades. So, you know, this stuff is generally pretty thick and robust as far as the rust stuff goes. But anyway, just I'm doing a lot of talking here, but it's just really been bugging me on this bed on where to stop, what to do. It's just been a real struggle. And plus, I just want to get this thing done because I have other trucks I need to work on. So I'm kind of at that point where it's like, it's good enough. So I wanted to show you guys and show you what I'm dealing with. So there's basically rot in this bed, and I don't like it, but we're dealing with it. And I'm trying to make it better. Trying to. That's the main thing. We're trying to. So I'm going to do something with the paint on this. And I'm not going to paint the whole inside. I don't want to get that far into it. I'm just going to paint the bottom edge. I'm going to paint all that and just call it good. And I think we're pretty much done with that. I have to paint the ladder racks. And I also have to find a vintage ladder. I've yet to find one. I found one, but it's like 14 foot long. It's kind of long. I don't really want to cut it because it's really cool. If I don't find anything better, I might snag that one, but it's kind of expensive too. If I find, it can even be an aluminum ladder. I just got to find one. I'm sure there's one sitting somewhere someone just give to me if I find it, but that's the hard part, is finding it. So I'm going to finish up on that bed and get it put back on the truck since I had the back glass in and it's out of the way. And at some point we'll get the dang windshield in the thing, and then we'll be kind of done with it. Once I put the windshield in, we can put the dash pad in and reassemble all that stuff. And then we'll go take it for a drive. Speaking of taking it for a drive, one more thing with this truck. While I had the bed off of it, I was curious about the rear end ratio. You can see there I marked the rear end. I had this jacked up to put the leaf springs in it, the new leaf springs. So I went ahead and measured the, see what gear ratio this thing is, because it goes like 1,000 miles an hour in reverse and first. Like it is tough to, like when you're pulling it in the shop or something, it's tough to get it pulled in here without going too fast and not killing the thing. And I'm like, it's supposed to have 14 gears. Why is this thing so fast? So I measured it. It has 3.0 gears. So at some point along the road, somebody got tired of the 4.0 gears that were in this work truck and put some highway gears in it. But I think those highway gears are a little too much for the little 240 in this thing. We'll see how it drives down the highway. It might drive really nice down the highway. If so, I'll leave them. I don't have any other, I have 2 sets of 325s, which would be better, but probably not good enough to warrant stripping everything down and pulling up the third member. So we're going to see how it drives. Hopefully by the end of this episode we'll know that. So I'm going to get after working on this thing and see what we can get done. All right, I think I am done with the bed for now. I want to show you guys what I came up with on the paint. I'll keep it quick. Basically, I just painted the areas where the plywood is going to sit on that rail right there and where the rot is the worst, because this thing had a pack rat nest in it. It did have a floor when I got it, but it was all rotten and not any good. So it had a pack rat nest in here, and all the edges and everything are just rotten and flaky and not very good. So I wanted to do something about that and not just put plywood over the top of it. So I treated that, but I left everything else unpainted. You can see down here, all of this stuff is good down here under the floor. I also have my plywood here cut to fit. I notched a few spots to fit the bed better, and I had to put a little notch right here for the latch on the door. I put some deck stain on this just so it has some water resistance. This is a treated piece of plywood, like an exterior piece of plywood, but I put some deck stain on it just so it had some water repelling capabilities. I'm not going to put that in just yet because I have to put it in and bolt the bed down, and then I'll put it in and screw it down. I got some screws that go through wood and then metal deck screws, or like what you screw a trailer floor with and stuff. Got some of that. Now over here, I've been painting the ladder racks. I put some Tamco 2K black paint on here, direct to metal paint. I think it turned out pretty nice. It's a little glossier than I like. I did say it was like 90% gloss. I do have some flattener, but I thought we'll see how this looks since it's just a little small project here. So I do like it a little flatter than this. This is pretty darn glossy, but I think for this project it'll be just fine. Hopefully it doesn't look too stick out like a sore thumb on that patina bed. We'll see how it looks. If it does, I can kind of scuff it up or make it kind of look a little less shiny new. But got the ladder racks painted, so those things are ready to go on. And over here on the truck, I got tired of waiting and I started on the windshield. Now I was just giving this a try just to see how it worked. I'm in here by myself in the shop, so I was kind of pretty much saying this was going to be a fail. I've done this before, or tried it before about 3 years ago. The 69 F350 dually flatbed I tried to do a glass on it and I failed miserably. I didn't even get close to putting it in. I've learned some things since then. Mainly I've put in a lot of back glasses, and it's kind of the same concept, although a little trickier with the contours. But I'm actually getting some progress on this one, so I thought I would pick the camera up and show you guys. I was expecting to get nowhere and pull it back out, but I have the rope in here obviously, and I'm working my way around. So this gasket is on the lip here, and if you can see here where the rope is, I'm slowly working my way around it and getting the gasket over the lip there. And it's working pretty good. Basically, it was the struggle was getting my arm around here to get pressure on the outside and push enough that when you pull the rope to get it over the top. That's what I struggled with the first time, was getting it started. I think now that I got it started, I can get this thing installed. Hopefully it goes okay. We're pretty far over there on the other side, but I'm hoping by the time I work my way over there, everything's going to kind of start to line up. I did try to get the windshield as close to lined up as possible before I started roping it in, so you don't have to try to move it while your gaskets are seated in place. But I'm going to get to going on this and see how it turns out. Hopefully it goes on without a hitch, and I'll share it with you guys if so. And then we will be pretty much ready to be done with this thing. Once I get the windshield done, I'll put the dash pad in. I'll put our Ford spotlight back in and all the little pieces in the interior that are waiting on the windshield, and get the bed back on. And we got to take this thing for a drive. I haven't driven it, but you are driving it around here. I need to take this thing on the road. I want to end this episode off with that. So if this windshield deal all works out, we'll cut to that right now.
All right, well, as you can see, I have the windshield fully installed. That worked out pretty good. Pretty happy with the result. And like I said earlier in the video, I was gonna end this thing off with me test driving this truck and bring you guys along. And I did test drive it. The batteries were dead on my camera, so I didn't bring it. I was just gonna film something a little bit later. This was kind of initial test drive. And unfortunately, it didn't go very well. If you can see there by the engine bay, we have the valve cover back off. The thing started tapping on me really bad. Almost considered a rod knock from inside the cab, but kind of narrowed it down to I think the lifters are sticking again. If you remember when we got this thing running, been a while ago now, but when I originally got this engine running, this is a takeout engine from a low mile truck that they did a coyote swap on. And I put this one in here because the original engine had low oil pressure. We got this one running. It probably set for a long time, and the valve train was really noisy, and we had to readjust the valves on it, and we had that issue. But it's been good ever since then, until I went and drove it to town, got it good and hot, got some good miles on it, went down the road. When I pulled over in town to check on some things, it was giving us some noise at the valve train, tapping and tapping away. So unfortunately, I got it back home, and got pulled in the shop, pulled the valve cover off, and as I can demonstrate here, in typical fashion, when you get it pulled in the shop, it quits making the noise. Let's see if I can get it fired up here for you guys. So now it's running, and it sounds great. There's no taps at all. Everything's running nice and smooth there. That's the way it goes, but I have new lifters ordered just because we've had those issues with this thing. I want to get those taken care of. Luckily on these engines, it's really easy. We got that cover there that they call that a lifter cover. We're gonna pull that off of there, get the lifters out there. We gotta take the push rods and all that stuff out, but hopefully it won't be that big of an ordeal, and we'll get this thing be more reliable, and hopefully that issue won't happen. It's kind of one of those things, it will probably, as you work the engine and you start using it, the risk of that lifter sticking is going to go away, but I still don't want to risk having that happen to the new owner. So I'm going to go ahead and put new lifters in it, new gasket on that cover, and I'm going to rebuild the carburetor while I'm at it because I'm not real happy with the way the carburetor is fueling the engine. I think it's a little lean. But other than going down the road, everything went nice and smooth. It is definitely not a hot rod in third gear with those 3.0 gears that have been put in this thing. It was kind of, you had to have your foot in it a lot to get it going down the road and get it up to highway speed, but I did get it going about 60 miles an hour just comfortably. I mean, you could obviously make it go faster if you floored it, but just kind of comfortably 55 to 60 was kind of it was where it was wanting to be. It could definitely use some more power, but I mean, we got a little 240 here, base model engine, so what can you expect, I guess? I was going to kind of do a nice reveal with this truck, with the interior and everything, because I finished out the interior. But since it had different plans for me, we'll go ahead and do a reveal here in the shop. I got our new dash pad installed here from the guys over at Complete Performance. They sent me one of those over, along with all the other restoration parts we have here. I got the gauge bezel back installed, and I have basically just everything put back together, and our new automotive direct windshield was amazing driving down the road. Very good visibility. Obviously it's just glass, it's clear, but it makes a big difference whenever you have a foggy or old or cracked or chipped windshield on one of these old trucks, and you get a nice clean windshield in the thing, and it just really makes it really nice in here. Another thing that was really nice was it was very quiet. No rattles. We got all the rattles taken care of inside of here. I did have the windows down, and it was really windy yesterday, and that's another reason why I didn't bring the camera with me, because audio just would have been terrible. So I was like, well, we'll just drive it and see if we have any issues, and unfortunately we did. But I'll get them taken care of. I need to work on some brakes. It was pulling to the right a little bit, so I'm going to adjust on the brakes a little bit and try to get those working a little bit better. But other than that, the thing was running really good, so I'm kind of happy with that, other than the tick. So we get the tick taken care of. I think we'll be good to go on that. I'm probably not going to make another episode on this truck. It'll probably, the next time you see this truck, I'll be doing the Bring a Trailer for Sale auction, where I do an overview on this thing, which if you guys are regular viewers of the channel, it's probably going to be a lot of the same stuff regurgitated up, because I'm going over the truck for the auction. But, you know, there might be some new stuff in there if you guys just want to see more on the truck. I'll have that video posted when it goes for sale. Not sure when that's going to be. Typically when I do these trucks, I kind of have to say that like Sometimes it takes months, sometimes it takes weeks. I don't know. We have to get the lifter issues sorted out, obviously, and I have to get it cleaned up again, detailed again, to take pictures for the auction, because we live out here in the country, and every time I drive something, it gets dusty because we live on gravel roads. So I'll have to do another round of detailing on the thing, and then get pictures taken, and then submit the auction, and then we have to wait to put the auction listing all together and put it on Bring a Trailer. And plus, I have to put more miles on it because I'm only putting about 30 miles on it so far. So obviously I have to put a lot more miles on it than that. But we'll get that engine taken care of, and I still need to find a ladder for the thing. I kind of decided the one I found was too long, so I'm still on the hunt. I haven't really started looking hard. I need to, because I want to take auction pictures with the ladder on the rack, because it looks kind of bare right now without the ladder up there. But I'll find one, and you guys will see this truck again on the auction video, like I said. So we have another one almost complete. I kind of feel bad. Usually whenever I'm done with the truck, we're done with it, and I'm not done with it this time. But I feel like we're not going to have enough to make another video on it, just throwing lifters in. I don't know. If you guys want to see that, I'll probably post this before I get the lifters in this thing. So if you really want to see the lifters put in this thing, I might make a video on it if enough people say they want to. But other than that, we'll be looking for the auction video on this thing. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up if you like the project. This bell truck that snowballed into a major project that unfortunately don't really have the time to do, but that's where we are. I'm glad to almost be done with it. Home stretch. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching, guys.